Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Happiness Journey with Dr. Dan podcast, where every journey is worth living. My name is Dr. Dan, and I'm your host for today's episode. I am a cognitive behavior psychotherapist specializing in anger management issues, both court appointed and private, marriage counseling, dissociative identity disorders, narcissistic personality disorders, depression, anxiety, and so much more. If you need any assistance, reach out to DMV Counseling and Therapy Services at 301-325-1550. Today, I'm very excited to have at our podcast episode number 15, a very special guest, Rena Romano. Just like every of my past episodes, I will leave it up to the guests to properly introduce themselves, as no one can do a better job. Rena, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Dan. First, let me say thank you for the platform to share with your audience. It's an honor to be with you. Absolutely. Yes, I am Rena Romano. Wow, I wear a lot of hats. I'm a speaker, an author, a podcaster myself. I'm a coach, a TEDx coach, and I am a mindset coach. I am also a survivor of incest and sexual assault. And yes, I say that with a smile because I am a survivor and I trademark that word. So thank you again for having me here.
Thank you very much. So what brought you to become who you are today? So what kind of experiences that you had in the past life, or I would say past life, in the past that made you become who you are today?
Oh my goodness, what a journey. Well, as I said, I am a survivor of incest and sexual assault. My past career was in construction and sales, but I knew I wanted to live a different purpose. And because of my trauma, my past trauma, I ended up seeking help because I had suicidal thoughts because of all the pain and shame related around the trauma, but I knew I didn't want to die. I wanted to live. I had a purpose. I didn't know what it looked like, but I knew there was something out there for me to do, and I had to keep going. And I searched for help. I got help. And I even shared my story on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Oh, wow. That is impressive. So how did you reach out to Oprah and let her know about this past trauma?
Well, I have to tell you, she is my TV hero and mentor. And of course, she is a survivor of incest, sexual assault as well. And she was having a lot of shows on her broadcast on the Oprah Winfrey Show about abuse and child abuse and sexual assault and trauma. And I saw her and all of these people who were coming on her show, how they had been able to transform their lives and be happy and successful. And I thought, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. And so I reached out for help. And then after a few years, she would be asking people, watching the TV show, if you have a story you'd like to share with us, please send us an email.
Wow.
So I did.
And you were selected.
And I was selected. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So how is your past experience, or I would say past trauma, can actually help others cope with the way that you cope? Now, everyone or every personality is different. Some people hold in that trauma and they can never really heal. So is there a specific process, Rena, that you use to be able to kind of overcome those memories or those traumatic memories and became who you are today?
Well, first of all, I would say if you are in crisis mode, call a crisis center. There's a local center wherever you live, and I am on the RAINN Speaker Bureau, and it's RAINN, Rape and Incest National Network. They have a website. You can call them and they can help you get help. If you're in crisis, call for help. Don't be ashamed of your past. In my TEDx talk, Dr. Dan, I said I grew tired of being ashamed of crimes I did not commit because I wanted to take back my life. And having that aha moment has really helped me reframe my beliefs about the crime. I didn't do the crime, so I stopped doing the time per se, and being stuck in depression and being stuck in self-sabotaging habits. I wanted to live a happy, healthy, successful life. I mean, look at Oprah.
Mhm.
She's a billionaire.
Yes.
And if she can do it, we can all do it.
Absolutely.
So my first thing is get help. But then after counseling, continue the self-help, the self-realization, the mindset. I use affirmations. I've used tapping before, the EFT, emotional freedom technique. I've also used hypnosis to help me get through this. And I've worked with mindset coaches, and folks such as yourself. We have to, it's okay to ask for help. At first I thought it was a weakness, but it's not.
So how do you overcome the shame? How do you especially in your case, you have to admit that you need a strong personality to be able to kind of navigate through those challenges. But those who actually are so ashamed by what they've experienced, how do you allow them to be able to at least, I understand about the help, but is there anything else that you could suggest?
It's a process, and it's a process of learning to forgive yourself. It's a process of forgiving my perpetrators too, because after the abuse of my perpetrators, I was continuing the abuse with addiction, with drugs and alcohol and sexual activities. And I had to learn to forgive myself for the bad choices that I made afterwards, because that's what I was taught. Mm. So, and I want folks to know that bad choices don't make you bad people. They make you human, and it's part of your journey. So learn the lessons from those choices that you may regret, but we can't change them. So we have to accept them. And that's part of the process. And just the more we talk about it, what happened in our trauma, the more it helps us release the pain and the shame. And they just need to stand strong in their truth and not be ashamed of it.
Okay. And so if, let's say when you went through your transition, or not transition, but more through your self-healing, the coaches that actually assisted you to become yourself a coach, a mindset coach, do you have a way to be able to probably tweak your apprenticeship or your learning and adapted your own set of skills to be able to help your clients?
Yes, I do. And, we all come from a different perspective, and what worked for me may not work for others.
Exactly.
And so I want them to know that, because I have people that come up to me and say, I want to be happy like you. I want to be successful. I said, well, I said the same thing about Oprah and seeing the people on her show. I want to be happy like them. I want to be successful, but nobody could do it for me but myself. And I had to take the action to make that happen. And I had to just keep persevering every day, even get out of bed when I didn't feel like getting out of bed. If you're depressed, you need antidepressants. Please get the help you need. Reach out for help and be assessed. But ultimately, it's up to us. It's up to us to call for help, and it is up to us to do the work. Mm-hmm. Affirmation, positive things, changing bad habits to healthy habits, eating, reading good things, stop drinking, stop doing drugs. There's so many things that it's up to the individual, that they have to become determined to take back their power. They have to become determined to get happy, because it is a choice.
So what's your feeling about hypnosis? Has it really worked for you, Rena? Or for so many people, they're so afraid about a stranger tapping into their subconscious mind and starting to manipulate whatever thought they may have about themselves or change those thoughts. What's your say about that?
I loved the process. Find someone that you can trust, have a consultation with them first. I'm sure that many of them do, because you want to trust that person. But going under hypnosis, you're not going to do anything, and they are not going to make you do anything that you wouldn't do if you were alert and awake. So a lot of people are afraid of that. That's not the case. They're not going to make you do anything. They're going to help you through a process. So you want to find someone that's really knowledgeable and licensed in what they're doing to help you through it, because they are there to help you heal.
So when you see those big shows about priests hypnotizing people in the middle of the room and all, this is all a scam, because they can make them do whatever they want, which is not exactly how it really works.
No, yeah, and I'm not the expert on it, so I can't really go into a deep philosophical, technical conversation with you. I just know it worked for me. I allowed myself to go under, to be hypnotized, because I wanted to heal. And that's the main thing. You allow yourself. I gave myself permission to heal.
I see.
Whether it's through hypnosis or talk therapy or whatever. Give yourself permission to heal. Give yourself permission to take back your life. You're the one in charge.
Interesting. Now, if we tackle the laws of attractions, okay, the movie The Secret and the book The Secret from Rhonda Byrne, she talks a lot about thoughts become things. But aren't there other elements in that book or in that movie that are missing? Because a lot of people say, well, I would like to have a Lamborghini in my garage, but yet they sit down watching Netflix for like, 10, like a stretch of 10 hours. And then they look back at the garage, oh, there's no Lamborghini there. So those laws of attraction are just BS. So when we go into and we think about that, they have to put action and belief into the mix. And if they don't, obviously, there's a missing part of the equation that will not make those laws valid.
Absolutely. You cannot spell attraction without action.
Correct.
That word is in attraction for a reason. It's action. If we all sat at home on our couch eating bonbons, wishing for a Lamborghini, well, who's going to make the Lamborghinis if everybody's sitting home wishing for it to show up in their driveway? I mean, you got to get out and make the Lamborghini to make the money to buy the Lamborghini. So it's called getting a job. Hey, listen, Dr. Dan, Oprah wasn't going to call me and say, hey, girl, you want to be on my show? Just because I knew for 2 years prior to being on her show that I was going to. I felt it in my soul, in my body. And I would tell my friends and family, I'm going to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show one day. You just wait and see. And they were like, woo, she's kind of crazy. She's lost it. But I said, no, I know one day I'm going to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And so when she started saying, if you have a story, send us an email. So I sent an email, and lo and behold, they called me. Now, they weren't going to call me had I not sent the email.
That's true. It's hard for them to really know. Everyone's suffering from different predicaments.
Hello, you cannot manifest your reality without taking some action. So yeah, I agree with you that the problem with The Secret, they left out that element that it takes action. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take hard action. You have to believe it, and you have to believe that you're worthy of it.
Correct. Consistent, sustainable action. That's what's missing, actually. And actually, I saw just recently there was a recording about Jim Carrey that was on Oprah in 1995. And he said that when he was a comedian in Canada, he wrote himself a check of $10 million. And then he kept it in his wallet for 10 years. And he said that, every day he was looking at the check. He was saying, you know what, I'm going to make it happen. And he got paid $10 million for Dumb and Dumber. That was actually in 1995. So just to say that if you really visualize your future, even though sometimes it may not be perfect, it may not be as accurate as your thought construct them to be, things will happen at your benefit. But again, he worked hard. He did say, he said, oh, but I just didn't sit down and wait for things to happen. I made it happen. I did stand-up comedy. I got booed out of stage. I did this, but I pursued my dreams. And, he has a skill. Obviously, he's a comedian. He's very funny. But now he's very profound. Do you see him now, how he used a lot of metaphysical terms to be able to explain our presence on Earth. and I did metaphysical studies. So I know exactly every word he says, how it's supposed to be creating your own interpretation to it.
Yes, yes. And I'm on this study, I'm on this journey too, studying how we do create our own reality. And as a child, I didn't have a choice, that I was abused by an adult. But now as an adult, I have a choice to create the life I want. And even after the abuse, I was stuck in self-abuse. And one day a friend gave me the best gift I ever been given. And she said, when are you going to stop playing the victim and start taking responsibility for your life? And I was so mad at her. I said, well, I am the victim. She said, you're not anymore. The abuse has stopped.
Correct.
But you're abusing yourself. It's because I was stuck in a habitual, perpetual state of abuse. And I didn't know any better. I wanted better. Mm-hmm. So I had to take the steps to stop, to get out of victimhood. So it's the same thing. I wanted to be happy. Well, I had to make the steps. I had to make the call to get help. I had to get hypnosis, tapping, talk therapy, journaling, affirmations, whatever it takes.
How long did your journey last? Well, I would say your journey is until the end, but how long did you start seeing transformation, Rena, in your life, in your well-being, in your self-awareness, and how you perceive yourself from that point? How long? Because people like to know something more tangible. Is it going to take me 50 years? Is it going to take me 20? How long?
It takes as long as it takes. Each individual is different. I was molested from the age of 4 into my early 20s and raped by a colleague from work in my early 20s. And I didn't reach out for help until I was 34. I wasn't ready.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah. And I went through 2 years of talk therapy. And I'm proud to say I'm 65 years young now. So this has been over 30 years ago that I first got help. But having said that, when I went through therapy, I thought, okay, it happened. I'm happy. It's done. But that's not the case. I thought I was one and done. I tease people and say I got shrunk by my shrink. I got shrunk by my shrink, but I was okay for a while. But see, I didn't understand that this journey and our mindset is a continuing process of healing and finding new ways of thinking and finding new ways of doing things and finding new habits to replace the bad self-sabotaging habits.
Very common.
Yeah, very common. So now I'm 65 years young and I'm still on a journey, but yes, I am happy. I have my own business. I'm an author, speaker, like I said, a coach, but I still go to masterminds and master classes and speak with coaches whenever I find myself slipping back into those negative thoughts. And we all do. And you know what? I found out a lot of my friends who had not lived through the trauma that I've lived through still have imposter syndrome, confidence issues, self-esteem. So I look at them and I say, wow, I'm more normal than I thought I was.
So that's actually an interesting thing that you just said, Rena. So the imposter syndrome, is it the fake it till you make it? So do people kind of like are too afraid, or they don't trust themselves enough to be able to kind of like overcome those doubts?
Don't fake it till you make it. You really have to put a conscious effort into eliminating those negative thoughts and replacing them with positive thoughts and positive action. You can't fake it till you make it. I used to say that too. I say, embrace it.
Till you make it.
Until you make it. Exactly. Embrace it till you make it. Embrace that you're on a journey. Embrace that, okay, I don't have the confidence where I really want it to be, but I'm not going to give up on my dream. So embrace it till you make it. If you really have a dream, don't let anything get in your way.
Correct.
Do whatever it takes.
So how do you help people handle failure? How what okay, if let's say someone is entrepreneur, they will fail and they will fail miserably and they will fail over and over again. And as you know, the acronym FAIL is first attempt in learning. So but people don't learn from their failure, and that's a big problem, Rena. So how do you help them at least perceive that failure as more as a learning curve to be able to like a stepping stone?
It is a stepping stone. First, I congratulate them for failing
Mhm.
because they tried. If you don't try, you've already failed.
Correct.
So congratulations on failing. I've failed at so many things.
Two of us, Rena.
Hello.
Yes.
But you know what? It made me realize what I didn't want to do. So you can look at it that way. Well, maybe this is what I really didn't want to do, or I'm really not good at. You know, I have a podcast and I do a lot of my own editing and of the video and the audio, and I make my own graphics, which I could hire people to do that, but I really love doing that too. And I love teaching and coaching people on their mindset or their speech coaching. So keep trying new things. It may not be a money maker, but it may be a hobby. And, you know, don't give up your day job if you need to keep the paycheck coming in.
Absolutely.
So that's what I tell people too. Yeah.
So if let's say you would have to summarize or give the biggest piece of advice to all of our listeners, especially those who have gone through trauma in their past lives, what would be something encouraging that you could tell them for them to really absorb at least that part of the podcast, and for them to say, you know what, that made sense. I will move forward from here no matter what happens. What would be something that you could give them so they could bring home, basically?
Well, let me just say this. Someone out there right now is waiting for you to bring your dream alive so that you can make a difference in their life. And if you have a dream, whatever it is, don't stop pursuing it. Don't stop. Don't give up. Persevere. And this is kind of cliche. You're not alone, but it's true. You're not alone. And seek people out that can mentor you, that can coach you. Find people that you can talk to. But you are not alone. It's like me. I see people who are successful, so I put myself around those people.
Right.
And yeah, it's just keep going. And I think it's just affirmations too. Some people think they're silly, but they're not. Oprah uses them. Tony Robbins uses them. I use them. I'm sure you use them
Every day.
every day. They work if they're used properly, you know, and I have a gift on my website. People can go and sign up if they like. But the one thing is that your truth is nothing to be ashamed of. You didn't commit the crime. You may have made some bad choices. It doesn't make you bad. It makes you human. Forgive yourself and reach out and get help because you deserve it. And you are a unique being. There's a reason for you being here. And it doesn't have to be as grandiose as, you know, Oprah's purpose and being Oprah. We all cannot be Oprah. Mm-hmm. But you can be you. What is that? Don't give up on it.
And you should be proud. No matter what journey you live, you should be proud of it. And even as you said, despite the challenges that anyone faces, it's always good to be at least taking action, because if you have action, you will have reaction. And reaction depends on what action you took to be able to achieve your goals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sitting on the couch eating bonbons, waiting for that Lamborghini is an action. All that's going to do is make you fat and lazy.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today's podcast. I really do appreciate, Rena, for your time that you took out of your very busy schedule to join us. Thank you for participating and inspiring our many listeners. Now, we all hope that you have enjoyed today's episode. I'm very excited about the many upcoming guests that we have scheduled for the Happiness Journey podcast, filled with inspirational stories just like the one you listened to today. Now, here are a few concluding words of wisdom. How is it that with so many brilliant beings on your planet, so few recognize that once one life encounters turbulence, choppy waters, or setbacks, it's always a sign that things are about to get wildly better than they've ever been before? And by brilliant beings, I'm surely talking about you, my friends. Just accept it. My name is Dr. Dan Amzalag, and you may all keep pursuing your amazing journey in life. Thank you very much.